Hello and welcome to 2021, a new year and a new daily devotion, but the same topic, new beginnings. The ball is dropped, 18,000 pounds of it. And we have the baby, which is symbolic of new beginnings and new birth. Out with the old, in with the new, Old Lang Syne, which is kind of a depressing song to sing in a new year. But I ask you a question. As you approach 2021, maybe making some resolutions for how you'd like to turn your life around or do something new to improve. Have you ever been scared to do something? Only my wife has heard this story, but I'm going to share it with you now. Everyone in my biological family is divorced, every one of them. And I had lived through marriages and remarriages and struggled mightily in relationships. Always afraid that I'd blow it, that somehow being the byproduct of all these divorces, that there's no way that I would be able to have a healthy marriage and a healthy life. And so when I met my wife to be, Robin, I was so scared to commit, to propose, so afraid of who I was that I, in my shortcomings, would fail her, that I was ready to say, I can't get married. Sometimes we look at ourselves, our past, our flaws, our scars, and say, this lump of clay isn't good enough. I'm damaged goods. I can't live into or don't deserve a new tomorrow. And if I'm speaking your language today, if you've self-sabotaged God's plan for your life, if you put yourself into a spiritual prison of spiritual paralysis because of ways that you've screwed up, or your family has been screwed up, or mistakes that you've perceived that you've made, or maybe you really did make them, then let me introduce you to a little thing called grace. Grace says some pretty powerful things. God knows the good and the potential of all of us. God knows the bad, the sins, the things we've thought or done that have been horrible. And God knows the ugly, the places we're stuck, the places we refuse to listen or hear, our deepest fears or prejudices, our ugliest hatreds or thoughts, refusal to give in. And God still says, I know you. Give them to me. Wow. I imagine what it would be like if all of us walked around with a sign, like one of those little dialogue bubbles above our head that listed all the horrible mistakes we've made in our lives, all the things that are the shadow selves of who we are, our worst moments. And if people were able to see those, even alongside of our best successes and accomplishments, how many people would veer away and say, no, I want nothing to do with you, knowing that I didn't know before. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And I wonder who among us could stand, right? If we all knew our deepest and darkest skeletons and things that we are ashamed of. Grace says God does know. And even knowing those worst things says, hey, I love you. You're treasured. Don't you dare give up on yourself, because I haven't forgiven up on you. It's the message from the cross that says, Father, forgive them. They don't understand what it is they're doing in the face of the gift that is offered here and now. And it's a risen Christ who says, not I've come back like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm back and guns ablazing because I'm going to take care of every one of you sons of guns who tortured me and hung me up on that piece of wood and buried me in this tomb. You're all going to be smoked. No. My peace I give you. I won't leave you abandoned. I won't leave you orphaned. Don't be afraid. Feel the scars you gave me and come. This is good news, new beginnings. It is never too late. You might say to yourself, it's too late for me. I'm here to tell you the gospel truth. If it's too late for you, then Christ died for nothing. Let that sink in. It's never too late. And the cross is God's way of telling you and I, never throw in the towel on what God says is always redeemable. Here's to a new beginning and the courage to trust God in it. Amen.